Liverpool are looking for a midfield solution. Jürgen Klopp's side has had a very limited start this season with alternative options in the midfield. Leeds United's fairly easy take over Liverpool's midfield on Saturday raised a lot of questions and put serious pressure on Klopp. Indeed, back-to-back Premier League defeats leave the Reds closer to the relegation zone than the top of the table. As a result, even the situation of Klopp facing relegation was discussed. But the German manager refuses to bow under the tension. As the Reds try to improve their midweek performance against Napoli, Klopp insists he still has the struggle and hunger to turn the tide. Truth be told, there were a lot of people who saw midfield problems coming this season. The duo have been sidelined at various times this season, with Jordan Henderson and Thiago Alcantara on the wrong side of the 30. With Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain barely succeeding, Klopp was forced to rely on young Harvey Elliott far more than expected. With Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain also nearing the end of their deals and free to leave in 2023, Liverpool recognise the need to strengthen their midfield options. That's why at least two midfielder signings are at the top of Klopp's agenda leading to the next two transfer windows. Borussia Dortmund star Jude Bellingham is at the top of Liverpool's most wanted list. But he is an in-demand player whose salary is likely to exceed £130 million. He shows that he will follow the Liverpool signing no matter what. Another star who is strongly on the wanted list is Lemar. The Austrian star's contract in Leipzig expires in the summer of 2023 and Klopp has a huge admiration for the player. He suffered an unsuccessful approach from the Reds on his deadline day in the summer of 2022. Leipzig was adamant that he would not be allowed to leave. But as his deal expired in just 9 months, Lemar was eligible to sign a pre-contractual deal with overseas suitors from January 1st. Bayern Munich are also among those willing, but Bosman's decision means they won't be able to take an official approach until his contract expires. This will give Liverpool a transfer advantage, and now news is that the player is open to a move to Anfield. But instead of trying to seal a pre-contract deal, Liverpool are seeking a deal in January. The transfer of Arthur on the last day did not work, and the actor was not able to prove his suitability for Klopp. That's why the Reds boss is looking to get Lemar into the team in January and want to provide the instant relief he needs. The two clubs can therefore negotiate a £15 million fee in the winter window. While Leipzig doesn't want to lose its star, they are apparently willing to let him leave in January rather than lose it for nothing. Lemar himself is also reported to have made it clear his fondness for Merseysiders. Discussing Leipzig's decision to reject a summer offer from Liverpool and what the future holds for him, Lemar left open a future transfer to Anfield. Finally, I'd be ready to take a new step, he told Service TV in September. While confirming Liverpool's interest in the summer, he said his club did not allow the transfer. They immediately said, "No, that's not possible. On the one hand, that's nice because it shows that you're an important player. But it's also difficult because there's been a lot of discussion." Giving a big tip about his transfer to Anfield, he continued, "I've been in Leipzig for 5 years and I'm feeling good. Now, I have 1 year left and we'll see what happens next. I love watching the Premier League in general. I've always been a Liverpool fan," said. Lemar seems like the perfect midfielder for Klopp. He is hardworking, has good energy and is very good with the ball. Therefore, Liverpool seems ready to settle in the midfield. And if the price is right, the first addition to Liverpool's midfield looks imminent. However, Lemar currently has an injury and the Austrian player is expected to return on January 2nd. How he recovers from injury will be a very important factor. Liverpool already have a series of injuries and it's starting to get really frustrating, but it would be interesting to see Lemar signing up for the Reds after just recovering from injury. Do you think Lemar is the right choice for Liverpool? Another comeback in Liverpool midfield. Liverpool's midfield is slowly but surely returning to normal. Jürgen Klopp was unable to use them for most of his Premier League campaign due to injuries to key midfielders, which explains to some extent why the Reds are 15 points behind Arsenal in the league. Curtis Jones, Thiago, Jordan Henderson and Naby Keita have suffered injuries this season and Klopp's alternatives are narrowed. But a player may be preparing for his debut under Klopp since March. This week, Klopp announced to Liverpool's website that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is now ready for more regular Premier League football. And if the former Arsenal player can recapture the form that once made him such a driving force in the Reds' midfield, that would widen Klopp's options. Oxlade-Chamberlain made a brief cameo against Nottingham Forest last month and has not started a game since March last season. Rusting is inevitable, but Liverpool's midfield was almost invisible in defeats against Leeds and Forest. This is why it becomes very important to recover the Southampton Academy product. There will definitely be an option against Tottenham Hotspur this weekend, especially given Klopp's comments midweek. Klopp must insist on Darwin Nunez. Liverpool won 2-0 in their tough Champions League match against Napoli in form at Anfield this week. The Reds prepared specially and won this match after a home defeat against Leeds, but this is yet another reminder of their inconsistent and disappointing season so far. Jürgen Klopp and his men knew the game would be tough, as memories of the first match between clubs this season will still be fresh. However, there was no recurrence and it ended Napoli's 21-game unbeaten streak. Although not enough to be at the top of the group, the result had a few positive results. One of them is the influence Darwin Nunez can have. Although the striker was included in the 73rd minute, he made a strong justification for being one of the best players on the field, or at least making the biggest impact. Despite only being on the field for the last 15 minutes, he has achieved an impressive 7.5 SOFA score. The Uruguayan star had a clever headshot for Mohamed Salah's goal and also hit it too late to complete what was a seriously impressive cameo performance. Chris Bascom may have found the most effective way to describe the striker, noting that it could be an appropriately unbalanced solution to Liverpool's inconsistent season. From the moment the former Benfica man was brought against Naples, it was clear that he would become an agitator and annoy the defenders of the Italian side. With a brisk physical presence, the 23-year-old is an undeniably chaotic force on the pitch, especially when he's in and around the penalty area. He's fast for his size, making it difficult for the defenders to tackle him, and that could also be one of the things that sets him apart from his Liverpool teammates. Judging by the other attackers next to him, the smaller and more technically savvy players have a distinct profile. For example, Salah, Roberto Firmino and Diogo Jota. Nunez is in a completely different profile. More in the Erling Haaland mold, but apparently more unpredictable than Norwegian. Liverpool's £85 million club record signing will always be full of expectations. He has stood out with 7 goals and 1 assist so far this season, and a system the South American star needs to build on is essential. According to Nunez FBref data, he is in the top 2% for non-penalty goals, non-penalty XG, and total shots. This is an example of the brutal nature provided by the £140,000 a week man firing shots with machine-like consistency. Another interesting statistic is his touches in the opponent's penalty area. It averages 7.84 points per 90 minutes and is in the top 2%. In this data is evidence of the presence of the Uruguayan star, which has caused constant concern to the opposing defenders. Klopp himself described the forward's potential as incredible, while former Liverpool man Jamie Carragher described him as actually scary when assessing the striker's numbers throughout his career. All that being said, it's vital for Liverpool to continue with their new £70 million rated man, and moving to 4-3-3 more regularly could be another way to get the most out of him. It is necessary to allow the club record signature to enter the opponent's penalty area and use its presence to great effect.